Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pioli Corner. So, this is for match day 31, Milan Lecce. I'm going to display in a slightly different way. I hope you enjoy it and give me lots of feedback on this. So, let's move on to Pioli Corner. So, Mr. Pioli, he's asked, how and what is your opinion on building a team with an Italian core using the youth squad and players like Camarda? Pioli answers. Of course, I don't expect you all to read these speech bubbles. It's just a way of displaying it. He answers, I don't know. It is not a question for me to answer, to speak to those responsible for the acquisition strategy of the club. Next question. Milan, today, Mr. Pioli played with hunger, a real want to win this match with an impressive performance. What satisfaction do you take from that initial 20 minutes that dictated the flow of the game? Pioli answers, yes, this is part of the mentality of my group, but it's not difficult to find this motivation because it hasn't been a season that has always been brilliant and positive. We have suffered. During those times, we gritted our teeth. We never thought of isolating ourselves, but inside we felt this suffering. So now we want to continue this positivity for as long as possible. The players always believed in their work. They stayed compact. Now the players can see that they are well from a physical and technical perspective. Next question. Mr. Pioli, do you feel like today you also reconquered the San Siro? Did you get some sensation from the Scudetto season? When you were in the tunnel and the players' names were being announced, the crowd cheered, but the fans also were once again cheering your name too. Pioli answers, I have to say that we have suffered in the same way that our fans have suffered. But during those times, the fans never left us alone. They kept coming with lots of passion and support, also a lot of suffering. This is part of the great ambience around the San Siro. We have to utilize that, to use the energy around us. Because I repeat, the next month and a half is very important. We have reached this point well, but this match is over. This is how football is. We move on to the next game because we know those who judge us can change their minds quickly. We have big objectives and ambitions. We have to be as competitive as possible in all the competitions. Finishing second in Serie A and in the final of the Europa League will be something very important. This is our motivation. This is our objective, and we will work hard towards it. Next question. Mr. Pioli, you have a way of keeping things level when everything looks chaotic around you. Please tell us, how much do you like this group of players? So much, so much. But when I talk of the group, I don't talk only of the players. The group is made of the club, the executives, the technical staff, and all the people that work at Milanello. Believe me, it's difficult to find an atmosphere so attentive and professional, so positive, even when everything looks like it's not working and when everything is going wrong. Within my ring, we have never stopped believing in what we were doing. We always believed in the players and they believed in us. The club supported us. It's not that difficult to make your own luck. For sure, we lost some games, not because of bad luck, but because we could not maintain our level. But within the group, I have seen a symbiosis between the old and new players. It would have been easy for the senior players to lose some enthusiasm and energy with the influx of new players. Instead, I have seen them truly believing in the work and becoming part of the project. They have made themselves available and have been generous. It's great to coach this group. It's great to coach at Milanello, but we will have to see at the end of the season where we are. We expect to have to raise our level as we expect tough games ahead. Now we will try to win our sixth Serie A game in a row, now that we have finally done five. In the Europa League, Roma are a level above Slavia Praga and Rennes, but we will try to take an advantage when we play in front of our own fans. Next question. Now, it almost looks difficult for Ruben Loftus-Cheek to return to the starting squad, Mr. Pioli, and leaving someone out because everyone is in such good form, such impressive form. I have my opinion as to why in 2024 Milan has returned to its form. You have found equilibrium between the offensive and defensive phases, not because you couldn't do it, but because you had deficiencies that Serie A exposed, and that maybe looking back leave you with a bit of regret. Pioli answers, yes, I agree. We really underlined this in the team meetings. We had data that told us that in the first 4 months, our defense was at the level of a mid-table team. We sometimes saved ourselves with the offensive side. We also paid for some injuries and absences at the back. But working with more attention, pressing harder from the front, recovering the ball better, winning the midfield battles, the aggression in our play, I think many factors are responsible for our steps forward. This shows the quality of the group. The defensive phase depends a lot on the willingness of the players to sacrifice themselves, to collaborate, to communicate. The offensive phase doesn't so much depend on these factors. It can be more individual. But the defensive phase relies so much on collaboration, sacrifice, spirit. For example, the balls recovered by Pulisic, Chucky, even Leao. So we have to insist on this approach. Next question. Mr. Pioli, I want to stick to that theme, Pulisic and the recovered balls that he made. In that famous Zoom call with his dad, did you know that you were bringing a player who is technically proficient, but also someone with such a volume of work? He's played in 41 fixtures this year. He's never had so many in his career. Is this the version of Pulisic that you wanted to see and thought you could see? Pioli answers, I have to say that when I do these calls to convince players of the style of play and our vision and their individual growth, it's difficult for me to get wrong the sensation of a player's character and motivation. Pulisic is a player of a technical quality that I already knew, but after talking to him on video calls 2 to 3 times, I felt something very positive. I noticed that he really paid attention. He was curious. He wanted to apply himself. I am very happy because I have found everything that I felt. Christian is not a very open person. He is not someone who talks a lot. That is not what makes the difference. What makes the difference is the performance. It's not about what you say. It's about what or about what you declare you will do. His performances are fantastic for the squad, for everyone. Like all my new signings, they have raised the level of the squad from a professional and serious standpoint, as well as always making themselves available for the squad. We have to remember that this year we have changed. Between incomings and outgoings, more than 20 players have changed. It's not been simple. We are very close, but I believe that we can still improve. If we are doing well now, we must be ready to increase our level again. The matches against Roma, Sassuolo, the Derby, Juventus, all will need a very high level of play, attention, intensity, and above all, quality. So this completes Pioli Corner for this week. Feel free, please, to comment on this new style of presentation. And of course, feel free to comment on what he has said and give your opinions on that. Goodbye, everyone. Forza Milan, sempre. Italia!